I would like to acknowledge that we are on Aboriginal ground on the traditional country of the Wajak people, who are people who also have an experience of occupation, similar experience to that suffered by our friends and colleagues in the Tibetan community here. Thank you for coming out today. Thank you for flying the beautiful flag here on Hay Street, in the knowledge that if you tried to fly this flag in Lhasa, you would be arrested. And that is extraordinary. The freedoms that we take for granted here in Australia are not offered to those. Very simple freedoms: freedom of language, freedom of movement, freedom to fly the flag, and freedom to acknowledge His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I had the very good fortune to meet His Holiness at Dharamshala a few years ago, and he told us in a wonderful hour, just short of his birthday, about the middle way, that Tibet is not seeking to withdraw from China. Tibet and the Tibetan people acknowledge that the Chinese constitution says that religious freedom is allowed, says that autonomy within the People's Republic of China is acceptable. And yet, when they try and put this into practice, the written law of the People's Republic of China, they're persecuted, shot, arrested, tortured, maligned. And so this, he explained to us on that day, is why the struggle has to continue, and why the struggle inside Tibet is just as important as continuing the struggle outside Tibet. As Dao Aung San Suu Kyi, who has been given her freedom and now sits, albeit under a corrupted constitution now in the Parliament of Burma or Myanmar, said, "We need you to use your freedoms to protect ours." And that is the case still for the people of Burma, and very, very strongly for the people of Tibet. I was very fortunate to visit Lhasa only for a few days, a couple of years ago, and realising that the language is being wiped out, that there's a flood of investment, railway lines, freeways, and a flood of people, of Han Chinese people, who are pouring into the cities and into regional centres to effectively seal the genocide of the Tibetan people and the Tibetan culture. We cannot permit that. We must do everything that we can. And if you're hoping or expecting leadership from the Australian government, then all I can do is offer you the fact that what we do out here on the streets is far more important. They're winding back our foreign aid budget. They do not care about human rights in Tibet or anywhere else, which means your leadership in turning up here today and our advocacy in the community is more important than it's ever been before. As many people, Tibetans and those outside Tibet, yearn for the day in which this flag can fly freely over the Potala Palace, and in which images of His Holiness the Dalai Lama can again be enshrined and in people's households, that's the day that we all dream of, the day that His Holiness returns to Tibet, to his rightful place. I think that day will come. It will come. And with your help and our advocacy and everything that we can do to support the Tibetan cause, maybe that day will come soon. Thank you again for your invitation. Lovely to see you all, and we will see you and join you as this struggle continues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. And of course, we'll all be out on the 5th of April, making sure that Scott does stay in the Senate and continue to be the passionate voice that he is in the Parliament.